Welcome back, everybody. It's time to dive into a hodgepodge of holiday news that's been happening all around Christmas and Hanukkah and going into New Year's that would be missed by most legacy outlets out there, but not by us. Joining us today is Mr. Jonas J. Campbell, the investigative reporter for That Park Place, which, by the way, relaunches yet again on January 1st, this time DDoS protected. So we should be able to maintain the site without being taken down by bad actors who gave us quite the run for a while. It's only a shame that the web developer for That Park Place has a PhD in the thing. So recoded and ready to go. And Jonas, I'm assuming that you also are ready to roll this morning. How are you today?
Absolutely. I am doing fantastic. I
All
hope
right.
everybody
Well,
had a good
Jonas and I
holiday, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy New Year. Happy Hanukkah. And we hope 2023 is going to be fantastic for all. All right, today we are going into an article that was missed, as we said, by many, but not by you because you're following the channel. This is from Variety out of Elsa Kislasi. Am I saying that? Kislasi? Kislasi.
Your
We'll go
guess
with
is as good as mine.
it. Disney Plus nears windowing deal with French TV groups after skipping Strange World theatrical release. Jonas, here's what it says. After opting to skip a French theatrical release with its latest animated film, Strange World, Disney Plus is nearing a deal with French TV groups over their respective windows. Disney Plus had decided to stream Strange World directly onto its service in France to protest the country's strict windowing rules, which only applies to films first shown in theaters. In France, windowing is not a contractual issue, as in most other countries. It's regulated by a decree that sets exclusive windows for each distribution platform, kicking off with theaters, then pay TV and transactional VOD, and free-to-air channels, as well as SVOD. Guidelines in early 2022 set the window for subscription-based services like Disney Plus at 17 months following French theatrical release. They are less restrictive than the previous window, which required consumers to wait a lengthy 3 years after the theatrical rollout. All of this is foreign to me, especially since I am living in North America, but it's all very foreign to me because this is all government regulation in terms of how these companies can manage their properties. Very strange. Maybe it's coming to us at a future year that we wish not to have happen. But streamers say it's not enough of a concession since the new guidelines only apply to films produced in-house or by subsidiaries in the case of Disney with Disney Pixar and Marvel Movies, and Amazon with MGM titles such as James Bond. Disney's protest was sparked by the French requirement that streaming services temporarily pull their own movies from their platforms 5 months after streaming begins so that free-to-air channels such as TF1, France Televisions, and M6 can have their own exclusive window, which starts 22 months after a film comes out in cinemas and lasts 14 months. I noticed in this article that they are hesitant to say that it is the French government. They continue to say French rules or French requirements, but they don't say overtly so that the reader can understand that this is all government edict. Jonas, what say you on this topic?
It is an amazing thing to watch the way other countries run. The language is also controlled by the government in France. They know exactly what they want, whether or not that's good for them. And so all these questions that we have in the United States with windowing, whether or not Strange World over here has a 30-day window, whether or not Warner Brothers can release day and date, they have no option in France, and the market can't adapt because it's written in stone.
In this case, Strange World released worldwide and was largely a bust. And so this is not as big a deal in France simply because we all know that this movie now is not it's not greatly desired by consumers. But you could see the possibility coming up that there could be some very major movies running into this kind of problem where wanting to push them to streaming is being curtailed by the French government. I don't know if other European nations are doing something similar to this, but it just relays sort of the messiness that Disney and other companies have stepped into by going all in on streaming. And in this case, some of these other governments, these larger governments, in the case of France, it's more of a socialist government, they struggle to keep up with the times. And it also may not be in their interest to keep up with the times. It may be in their interest to keep the old rules and regulations. And as this just plainly says, it allows for French TV channels and French companies to have an advantage.
In addition, if I can add this, This has stopped Netflix from releasing films theatrically in France, which is something that Netflix has been trying to do to add legitimacy to their brand, but this keeps them out of the market. The earliest that this could change is at least another year, even though there are active talks to try to change it. Um, as we all know, moving a government, that's about the slowest move you can make.
Yes, exactly. And you sent me another item for this hodgepodge today of things that we don't want to have missed out on. And I want to segue into this real quick. But so earlier this morning, I tweeted out that we had received word from various sources that two of the intellectual properties that had underperformed over the holidays, so Black Friday until Christmas, and now going into New Year's, two of the properties that are underperforming toys wise are Barbie and Star Wars. And both of those are very interesting to me because with Barbie, you have the movie coming out. So you would think that they would be pushing that brand heavily, that they would be doing everything they can to build interest in it so that people will go see the Barbie movie. The other thing that's interesting to me is you've got Star Wars, and we've been hearing now for months and months that that brand is, well, it's very damaged and it's theatrically dead. And there's some worry that even on the streaming side that it's losing popularity. So to hear that both of those brands are the two that retailers are now going to have to highly discount to move off shelves was no surprise to me. But I do think that it's poignant at this time to report on that and let people know that yes, this is happening now. This is not something that's still sitting in theory. Now it's a pragmatic problem for the companies. But you know, there's this thing going on inside a lot of children's entertainment, children's media, children's toys, where they're trying to socially engineer the way that children play and interact and view the world. And so, following up on that leak that I got about Barbie and Star Wars, you sent this tweet out about a little toy called Squishmallows, and I'll hand this over to you and let you read the tag on it. But it's something, and if as you read it, I want people to consider that. Let's say that you agree with everything on this tag, fine. But would you agree with it if it were the complete opposite? That's what I want you to think about. Is this in the middle or is this in one particular direction? All right, Jonas, let me click on the image here. All right, take it away.
All right. Chasman, a male squishmallow identified here. Chasman shows off his unique personality through flowing dresses and brightly colored manicures. Every day is a new chance to make a statement to express himself. He embraces himself for exactly who he is, and he wants you to, too.
Yes, well, great job with whoever wrote that one to end with two. But maybe it's appropriate. Then it continues on in French, the French translation below. Maybe they didn't think that Latinos would enjoy this so much they didn't put it in Spanish. But I don't know. Well, actually, that's really funny that it's not in Spanish because this is an animal. I don't know if people know this, but this is based off of an animal that lives specifically in Mexico City. It's highly endangered, almost to the point of extinction in the wild because of urban growth in Mexico City, and its habitat is under threat. So that's perfect that they didn't put it in Spanish. It's in French only. But this really goes to the point of what we're talking about, where companies are putting in this kind of stuff that is not in the middle, and it doesn't reach out to the largest demographic. It alienates groups, and then they wonder why are they not being highly successful. So, Jonas, final thoughts before we wrap this up? This hodgepodge of the holidays.
Well, I hate to say there's going to be more from Squishmallows coming up. On my basic research, I did a small amount of research, and there were indications of paganism, lots of diving into mental health issues, things like that. So I think it's the tip of the iceberg. So stay tuned to that Park Place.
Now, Jonas, you don't know who is the creator and the distributor of Squishmallows, do you?
These actually, I believe the company's name is Kelly, and they saw the popularity of Japanese plush toys over there and decided to make their own line. So this does not appear to be inspired by anything other than a profit motive.
Gotcha. Well, we're looking forward to the reporting coming from that Park Place again, launching January 1st. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us. Remember, keep reading all the news that should be fun.